We're not, but we're, what?
We're not on mute.
But you have waiting music.
Yeah. Guess who I was waiting for? Oh. That's not good. Okay, looks like the stream is still live, but the thumbnail... That's weird.
This is our ship. It's a rotating artificial gravity ship that rotates.
Fuck.
Read something. Ask if they can hear us.
Can everyone hear us? I think I just fucked this up. Should be. Yeah, it's reading. Oh. Okay, you can hear us. That's good. I don't know what's going on with the screen cap. It's like not reading for us at all. Mousy, shut up. Shut up, Space Kitty.
I'm telling her to shut up. She's people too.
If you guys can hear us, that's what's important. I was showcasing the awesome artwork by Nick Carr, so it's linked in the description too. So I'm sorry if no one can see that. Whatever, it's working. Let's get this going. All right, let me move the mic close to us. There we go. Okay. And hi, Joseph. Yeah, thanks for pointing it out. If anyone wants to know when we're going to live stream, we try to do it in as advance as possible, but we don't have a set schedule right now. So
we decided we were going to live stream yesterday. So
yeah, I'm trying to. But right now, I'm putting up the live streams as in advance as possible. And
I didn't tell my Overwatch addiction that we were going to live stream today.
And letting everyone know on Twitter. And so if you're subscribed to the channel, you can hit the bell notification thing. That'll tell you when we schedule a live stream. So you'll know in advance when it's happening. And I try to give everyone on Discord and Twitter everything as much notice as possible. Trying to do it once a week. The day of the week is kind of all over the place. But yeah, glad you're here. Glad that you want to partake in this. It means a lot to us. All right, so hello everybody. Welcome back to Raygun Readers. We are going to finish the Twin Paradox today because I really want to finish the story. Okay, there is not that much left.
Why don't you do a recap for our fans?
Yes, Latrine already said that she doesn't remember what happened, and I don't blame her. That's kind of
the problem with doing these segments.
Well, if we had done them weekly, then it would have been a lot easier. But yeah, it's very easy to recap, actually. I do encourage everyone to go read this story for themselves. It's not that long.
But then they would have no reason to hear us narrate.
Well, I mean, they can hear both. It doesn't matter. We're not narrating. We are reading and explaining and commentating and analyzing. Yeah, so the story goes that a colony ship was sent out to a new planet, and our protagonist woke up and noticed that like the ship was damaged heavily and life support was failing and everyone was dead, and he went through this horrific, chaotic, and traumatic time trying to come to terms with it, trying to survive. A lot of weird ghost stuff happened. He was going crazy, and this is not doing a great service to the story. But again,
and then he just sort of wakes up in a bed, and everything that he thought happened, and the story spent a lot of time on, didn't happen.
It didn't happen, but it also snuck in there. Oh man, if I'm trying to take care of this guy who what did he say? Basically, if he was having a terrible nightmare in when the life support was failing, he wouldn't even know. And then it turns out that's what was happening to him because the life support was failing. Like just his unit. And then when he wakes up, the ship is fine. Everyone's fine. And the doctor's sitting there and she says, oh, you're okay. You were just having, a weird malfunction.
Take the time to save him where he's just getting rid of the bodies of everyone else.
In his fever dream, he was like giving funerals to everybody. It was very grim and very, very well done. I like this story. Beth says, if I wanted to hear a narration, I would have found one years ago. Oh, that means a lot, Beth. Oh, and Beth, for everyone who's listening, everyone in chat probably knows, but Beth did the original artwork for our characters and this, portraits for what I totally look like in real life. So she's awesome. Go look at her stuff, give her money, commission stuff. She's really cool and very talented. So let's get this started. We are on chapter 11. I think we only have like maybe 5 or 6 pages left, honestly. This isn't a lot. So if we end this pretty early, we could just do like Choice of Robots, I think.
Okay, or we could talk about Star Trek.
We could talk.
We really want to do.
I really want to talk about Star Trek.
Want to talk about Star Trek.
Maybe we'll talk about Star Trek a bit. Okay, so chapter 11. The console came alive at my fingertips as I took my seat. I made minor thrust adjustments at the mid and aft fuselage sectors, then realigned our trajectory until the orbital altimeter. Altimeter?
Those are
altimeter.
Words. What are you talking about?
These are all words. These are all aviary.
The orbital altimeter showed decay at nil.
That's altitude, I'm guessing?
Altitude, yeah.
Yeah, okay, showing decay at nil. I set main engines to neutral and began deceleration phases to minimum orbital velocity. The navigation and analysis crew sat at the ready. That's right, he's a pilot or navigator. Flight path stabilized and holding, I announced. Your orders, sir? The captain stood at my side, gazing at the master bridge display, at the planet's soft glow. He maintained a cool exterior. Well, it came with the territory. Oh, he maintained a cool exterior well. It came with the territory. Still, oh, for fuck's sake.
You can't be mad at me now. Somebody didn't turn off their phone.
No, not doing that. Not having a call right now, sorry.
Who was it, your mom?
No, it was my dad. Sorry, Dad. Still, we all knew he was just as excited as the rest of us.
He spoke flatly. He spoke flatly. Give me the rundown on the recon analysis. One of the analysis crews spoke up without hesitation. Sir, primary inspection indicates an average gravitational acceleration of 9.25 meters per second squared. No anomalies. A slight relief from Earth's gravitational pull, which should be helpful in the construction. Terrestrial analysis shows a stable, mostly metamorphic. This whole story is metaphoric. Metamorphic and sedimentary infrastructure, and shouldn't give us too much trouble in the terraforming process.
Metamorphic.
Atmospheric samples show a gas composition similar to that of Earth, though with a noticeable lack of neon, argon, and iodine. Earth content. God damn it. Oxygen content at 28%. Carbon dioxide at less than 3%. Great conditions for human life, although the drones can't account for any presence of native viruses or microbial contagions.
Oxygen at 28%?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem very breathable. Like, I know the air we breathe is not all oxygen, but I think 28's really low, isn't it?
It's like half. I don't know, dude.
That's something we should look up.
Look it up on your phone. It's not hard. It would be best to rely on pressure suits until further notice after touchdown. The captain nodded. Well, no time like the present, gentlemen. He spoke while turning to me. Maintain orbit and run geological survey protocols. Let's find a place to set up camp and make it someplace green. Topographic reading in progress, I announced. After a brief pause, a mesh global display expanded across my hollow monitor. I panned over the surface and compared terrain mapping to the recon analysis readout. I found a sizable clearing on one of the northern hemisphere's major continents, environmentally comparable to Earth's subtropics. Little difficult terrain should give no complications in the initial sweep and setup. Did you find it? Oh, you aren't even looking.
No, sorry. I'm doing other work. I'm terrible.
Okay. Wikipedia says the atmosphere of Earth is made up of 20% oxygen. So 28. Oh,
wow.
People will be getting a little high.
So I was completely off on that. All right. Well, okay. So it is ideal. So we're getting a very, very optimistic setup of this planet. Like, you know, it's different from Earth, but it's totally Earth, guys. We could totally do this. And I'm wondering if that's
why they went there.
If that's a fake out. Yeah, I don't know. We will see. I'm just trying to guess what this writer's gonna do. Where'd you leave off?
I left off here.
Taking a seat in his chair behind the helm, he spoke with conviction. Then that's our destination. Let's get planetside and find what we came for. I affirmed his order and passed it down the chain. Yes, sir. Alert all us.
What we came for?
New Earth.
Okay.
I assume.
I hope so.
Alert all essential crew. Navigation operatives report to primary coordination deck. All defense and construction personnel to peripheral lander hangar and wait further orders. Await further orders. Planetfall sequence protocols to initiate in T-minus 30 minutes. Docking crew status check. Every member of the docking crew reported all systems green, and the descent procedure was a go. And as I watched the final sequences enter interminable automation, the illusion dissolved and hurled me back into that horrific nightmare. What? And as I watched the final sequence enter interminable automation, the illusion dissolved and hurled me back into that horrific nightmare. Oh, what's happening now? Okay, that was chapter 11. We're now in chapter 12.
What? So he's like, so he's just, he's still going crazy?
He's still going crazy.
Oh, okay. So
God damn it.
None of that was real.
None of that was real. I don't even know anymore.
What?
It's a good thing this story's almost over because I can't take much more of this.
Or he's having like PTSD from his.
He might.
So this is like one of those. Which reality is real? The one where I'm awake or the one where I'm asleep?
Hence twin paradox.
So you think it's like two dimensions that are
something like that. I didn't think it was the literal interpretation of Einstein posited, but there's a duality happening here.
Duality. So he's Schrodinger's helm pilot. keep reading.
Oh, that was good though. I looked up from my holomonitor to find the bridge dark and abandoned. The last flickering consoles around me blinked out one by one, leaving me in total darkness, surrounded by the empty and lifeless ship I had come to know so well. The only light left was that of the softly glowing planet in the distance, and I gazed upon it for the remainder of that restless night. So he is actually at the planet.
Oh, did he make it to the planet?
He did. He was just imagining, or something was happening in a different reality that they were all still alive. The planetfall sequence...
But, like, is his body still fucked then?
We will find out. The planetfall sequence, once initiated, could not be stopped. The mission control sector and peripheral resource barges would separate from the primary centrifuge, descend to atmospheric entry, and set trajectory to the specific coordinates. The trouble, though, was that a smooth entry would not be possible without a coordination crew. They would be needed to make the subtle adjustments for entry turbulence and barometric pressure changes. The central computer could not process these calculations without further data that I did not have at my disposal since the probes were never actually dispatched. Without its automated guidance, entry would be left up to pure instinct. For a single man, it would be like trying to look left and right at the same time. It could not be done.
I can look left and right at the same time. All I gotta do is cross my eyes.
Screw-eyed. Boss-eyed.
In short, that drifting fortress would not be my home for much longer. Within 24 hours, final descent into the planet's gravitational field would begin. Within 48 hours, atmospheric contact and all evacuation ports would engage lockdown. I'd be left with no option but to wait for my death in a ship reduced to shrapnel and dust. There was no way around it. If I wanted to survive, I'd have to take an escape shuttle to the surface. With no intel, limited resources, and no support, it was a massive gamble. But it was the only chance I had. I didn't have time to think. Not with that sort of time crunch, but it was difficult to do anything other than sit in confounded disbelief in the wake of such a distressing conundrum. And it brought about a measure of enlightenment. Okay, what bothers me here a little bit is that he just had this dream where everything was okay, and then he comes out of it, he's like, oh, okay, it's dark again.
Okay, so I think I know what happened. Before he got back to the flight deck, he was crawling with, like, broken leg and everything towards the medical bay, right, which had, like, a service bot on it. So I think he, like, climbed into that, and it patched him up.
Oh.
But whilst that was happening, either, like, because of an anesthetic injection or something, he had another fever dream of, oh, everyone's alive. And so
now he's back sitting at the console, and all of a sudden his fever dream's gone.
Well, like, I think he made his way to the console because he was imagining all this, and then it's like reality is slightly embellished by his mind because he's back at the console and everyone's alive. Oh, the planet's there, we're gonna go down soon. And then, like, he snaps and goes, oh wait, shit, that's right.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
Okay, but still, I imagine, a person might be a little more distressed in finding out that the illusion of the illusion was just an illusion.
Could, but Mr. Shotwell's already like kind of played that up a lot, and we've had so much internal dialogue.
It's kind of frustrating me a little bit. Yeah, all I'm saying.
I can see why it's not in here again. I think we can assume what he would think.
Even if what I had experienced up to that point had been an illusion. Oh wait, let me go back a little. I didn't have time to think with that sort of time crunch, but it was difficult to do anything other than sit in confounded disbelief in the wake of such a distressing conundrum, and it brought about a measure of enlightenment. Even if what I had experienced up to that point had been an illusion, there were forces at work around me beyond my control. Things were happening by no action of my own, things that could not have happened without a guiding hand. I could not have diminished to such sickness and near starvation in a matter of I could not have diminished to such sickness and near starvation in a matter of hours. I have no history of sleepwalking, and I did not unconsciously strap myself to that cot. The compound fracture and the quickly festering slash at the bottom of my foot were real. I'll never forget the pain, and I couldn't have imagined it all. And most importantly, activating the planetfall sequence requires multiple personnel and multiple consoles. I could not have started this descent alone. You think maybe like both realities are real?
Yeah,
maybe?
So my theory just got debunked. Game theory. So are there ghosts aboard the ship?
Well, then the story's wrong then, because it doesn't match your theory.
Yeah, clearly. Mr. Shotwell rewrite everything to fit my narrative. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe like there are two realities kind of cascading on one another, and
he's in some sort of dimensional shift.
Yeah, so like his other versions are trying to help him get to the planet and survive or something.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know about that so much as the people are there and then they're not. Like the two realities are kind of stitched on top of each other. On top of the obvious meddling of outside forces, it had seemed all too deliberate. It fed my despair, prolonged my mourning, gave me anger through fear, and gave me focus through defiance.
And through defiance is the dark side.
And when I finally found the resolve to climb to my feet and press forward, it rewarded me with one last vision of hope. There was a message through all of the chaos and the nightmare of hopelessness and death. It was provoking me, directing me. It wanted something from me, and it had been manipulating me to that end. These were the thoughts that raced through my head on that restless night. No doubt it would show me more of my last moments aboard that ship to cement my determination. It would not allow me to relapse. It's in quotations. Would not allow me to relapse into doubt, and it would find me, and it would do whatever is necessary to reel me in. Find me, the little girl had said. That's what it wanted, so I would oblige.
Come on down to the planet side. We all float. Okay, 13. I think this is the last. Nope, second to last. We're almost done. Charging through this. I couldn't have gotten more than an hour of sleep if I slept at all, and the hallucinations became relentless from the moment I woke. For brief moments in the dimness, the spacious corridors turned bright and cramped with visions of the crew rushing to their stations. At random intervals, the electric hums and silence drowned in blaring sirens, clambering boots, and the mechanical whirring of engines and disengaging couplings beneath my feet.
I've seen this Star Trek episode.
I ignored these things. I would be taking the leap of faith at my own discretion and at my own pace, and I refused to be manipulated by the madness stirring around me. If abandoning the ship would kill me, then it would be the consequence of my decision and mine alone. Okay, so defiance in the face of chaos. I calmly made my preparations over the course of the following 12 hours. I ran a system diagnostic of IDS-00251. I don't know what... Oh, the escape shuttle that would carry me to the surface, while the phantom of my son stood at my side and questioned every step with wide-eyed wonder. I ignored him. I ran my inventory check of the remaining food and water supply.
Oh, did he kill his son too?
No, his son's back on Earth.
Oh.
Then gathered as much as the shuttle could hold. The image of my kitchen back on Earth haunted me as I rushed about the cold storage pantries.
What?
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 You're bored?
No, I'm good. No, I'm not bored.
My wife prepared our evening meal and told me stories of our growing son, and I went about my business without a single word in response. Man, these are some powerful-ass hallucinations. Finally, I made my way to the personnel outfitting lockers for a routine check of my flight gear.
He needs a Ghostbuster to help him deal with some of this.
Check of my flight gear and pressure suit. There I had one last illusory encounter, and the only conversation I would entertain within that waking dream. James is a young, also like crew member.
Ensign, whatever.
Yeah, that he had to bury or shove out into space. James stood before his locker, 7 spaces down from mine, already half dressed for departure. He was checking the life support system for malfunctions when he noticed me, and he smiled that same eager smile I remembered so well. "Think you'll find a new home down there, sir?" he asked me. Apparently, it realized I could see through the ruse and was finished insisting on its own illusion. It finally decided to address me directly, though still through James's visage, for some reason I could not understand. "That's what I'm hoping for," I replied. I began to suit up at an intentionally slow pace. I still had 6 hours before lockdown, and I wanted to hear what it had to say. Maybe I thought it would explain itself, or at least give me some idea as to what it wanted from me. I would not be so fortunate, and it would not be so generous, but I would learn that I was making the right decision, and I would dwell upon what it would say to me for some time to come. It would guide my every step forward from then on. All right, last chapter, 14. At the bottom.
Oh, that was a short chapter.
I told you they're very short at the end here.
Making me read the longest one, though.
Well, you don't have to read the whole thing.
You read the whole thing.
Yeah. Shut up. Now see.
For the final 3 hours before launch, my last few aboard the Odyssey, I sat in the cockpit of my escape.
What are you doing, Kirk?
I sat in the cockpit of my escape shuttle. All preparations were complete, and I had already entered the launch sequence code. I sat there staring at the brightly glowing console before me, its light retracting and distorting slightly through my visor. My helmet's HUD mimicked its query. Security sequence acknowledged. IDS-00251 deployment protocol initiated. Preliminary guidance system diagnostic clear. Confirm command Y/N. I was one keystroke away from leaving the ship behind for good, one keystroke away from approaching whatever destiny awaited me. And so I'd sat there, hesitating until the last possible second, contemplating my final exchange with James. "Maybe you'll be a hero one day, sir," he mused. "Or maybe just a memory, like us." I sat on the bench and latched up my boots, never looking up to make eye contact. Maybe both, maybe neither, who knows? And who would be there to remember anyway? "Maybe no one," he said in a voice less familiar with every syllable. "But we remember. We always remember."
We all float.
I stood to face him, pulling my modular harness over my shoulders and latching it to my belt. "And who are you, exactly?" He did not answer. He stood there before me as the frozen cadaver of my nightmares, and he spoke in that same icy breath that chilled my skin. And he spoke in that, and then things got, God damn it. He spoke in that same icy breath that chilled my skin. Things gone by, things to come. Things afar and things near, things forever and never. We remember them. The sight no longer frightened me. It was one of those things it appeared to be. And so I continued to dress as I questioned it further. "You remember James? You remember the crew? Do you know what happened to our world?" I slid on and latched my gloves, flexing my fingers to tighten the slack. "We remember the ones lost to time."
I am Batman.
"We remember disaster, and we remember sorrow, and we remember new beginnings from tragic ends." He spoke in a sigh of death.
Some weird cosmic entity.
Yeah.
Maybe. We have some predictions in the chat. We have
Batman.
We have Batman. Parallel worlds that somehow he is connected to.
Well, he's talking to an alien now.
Is it an alien? Is it his imagination?
It's an interdimensional being.
Is it Lovecraftian?
But it's in space, so does that make it an alien?
To him, yes, it would be alien.
I think the interdimensional thing is off. I think he's just hallucinating, and that it's just an alien.
We have some good theories so far. All right, let's finish this out.
Well, thanks for making me lose my space.
You're welcome.
I only listened. As I fastened the visor over my helmet's lower guard and uplink terminal, the HUD came into view with the image of my son as I saw him on his birthday. His voice filtered through the helmet's audio system. But Daddy, we remember you now. We watch closely and we listen. We remember through you and through those who came before you. And we remember all the many, and we remember all through the many, all ages of life and death. My suit began synchronization with my assigned escape shuttle's computer, and the pressurization vacuum tightened the vital support gel bladders against my limbs and torso. And as the suit sealed me away from my familiar environment for the last time, I asked it one last question. What do you want from me?
I used to play bass for vital support gel bladders.
This is important. What does the alien want?
What does he want? It.
It's the clown. In the form of the little girl with eyes of polished coal, it asked me one last response.
How do you polish coal?
I don't know.
You can polish onyx, you can't polish coal.
Shut up. Abandon your prison, leave this place and find your answers. Find yourself. Find me. I sat back in the cockpit, staring into the middle distance and contemplating its words in a pensive daze, until a blaring alarm, an imposing text of a status alert spanned my visor. Now approaching Cygnus 9, gravitational well. Planet fall lockdown finalization imminent. Pending order, auto termination in 30 seconds. Confirm command, YN. That was it. Do or die. Flushing all remaining doubt from my mind, holding my breath, I confirmed the launch order. The launch portal doors receded. The electromagnetic propulsion rail extended, the docking clamps detached, the rail coupling aligned, and I felt the ship hum and rattle beneath me as the engines roared to life and shot me to the stars. So I was bound for that pale green orb in the distance, the ornament of the mantle of my discontent. To find her, to find it. I would brave the unknown, without a crew, without a colony, alone, estranged from all things familiar and comfortable, reaching for hope. To be continued. Vector 0.
You're gonna die.
No, that's like very 2001.
You're gonna die. You're gonna die on that planet. You're gonna die.
Yeah, he forgot to bring his cowbell to the new alien world, so I think they're probably gonna kill him.
Well,
that was a story.
That was a story.
I actually really, I like that.
Me too. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
We should have done it
there's a lot I want to know now.
I wonder if Vector 0 is coming out, because we could continue that, presumably. Vector 0... Aaron.
In which case we have more reading to do.
Yes. Aaron Shotwell.
We read so that you don't have to.
Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't look like it yet. There's 2 more installments, so it's going to be like a trilogy. Second installment's going to be Vector 0. Third will be Last Horizon. Interesting.
Okay. Wow.
Interesting.
Well, a lot of things happened. We met the aliens in the stars, and they told us to bring cowbells.
Ring cowbells. I'm just gonna check the my PDF.
Yeah, I like it when people read to me too. I'm trying to get Abysmii to read to me, but he won't because he's always too tired.
Yeah, Beth. I mean, as it is incomplete, but this could be a standalone.
Well, that sort of is an ending, though. Like, I mean, whatever comes next is going to be a different story in a sense. So
yeah,
it ends the saga of him being alone on a ship. It's an ending to me.
That, and it could be its own, but I will look out for the next installments. But that could totally just end right there, and I'd be satisfied.
Yeah, if there were a novel that ended that way, that'd be a pretty cogent ending right there.
That'd be a fine movie ending as well, TV series. I don't.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you could go all the way and show him being an old man in an alien zoo, but
not every story needs to be fully explained. especially when you're dealing with cosmic entities such as what it is.
But it felt like a Star Trek episode.
It did, actually.
In a lot of ways, like towards the end especially. Because, I mean, there was an episode where... Oh gosh, here we go.
Are we going to talk Star Trek now?
There was an episode where in Stargate, Samantha Carter was alone on the Prometheus and she was talking to a little girl. And then there was an episode with Worf in TNG, and then there was an episode with 7 of 9 as well. Similar.
Yeah, they revisit this concept a lot.
It's a pretty common trope.
Also, Kayla's in the chat. Hi, Kayla.
Hi, Kayla. Hi, everyone.
So do we want to transition to talking Star Trek then? We could spend a billion hours researching and everything.
Yeah, no,
but...
this is not the time.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
Okay. I think we do need to watch the first episode or 2 or 3. Probably should do 3 of Discovery.
We've been watching Red Letter Media, which is a terrible thing to do with your time because it's
beg your pardon? The best use of my time.
And it like they were talking about Star Trek Discovery and they had a lot of opinions.
For those of you that don't know, Star Trek Discovery is the newest syndicated TV series in the Star Trek universe. We have not had one for a decade or something. Not since Enterprise, and not in between those were the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies that were like not canon, or they are canon, or they're just different. And we've been watching people talk about them and review them. We've been watching Orville, the Seth MacFarlane parody of Next Generation and just old Star Trek.
In ways more faithful, but also in way like
it's absolutely more faithful.
He doesn't take up the mantle very well.
Yeah,
let's just put it that way. There shouldn't be that many penis jokes in Star Trek.
We can get into that, but we will get into that later.
We really want to get into that, but I think we want to think it through a little more.
So what we want to do for a live stream, or maybe just a video, and if anyone else who watches Star Trek wants to weigh in during the live stream, that would be great. What we want to do is watch a few episodes of of Discovery, the newest show, because you can't really judge any one Star Trek incarnation on its pilot. They all kind of suck.
Yeah, but I think we can judge this one on its pilot pretty.
We could, but I don't want to.
Movie. They just made an action movie. That's all they did.
Well, but
and then they didn't put it in
the first couple episodes of TNG were action movie. They went to the encounter at Farpoint, and like the Romulans came soon, and all sorts of crazy shit.
Okay.
But yeah, so we want to have a nice like discussion of that because Star Trek is important to science fiction literature. It's important to a lot of things.
But now let's not get too much into that because the importance of Star Trek is also part of the discussion.
Yes, I'm just saying that's why we're going to do it. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but you know, in the future sometime. We got to sit down and watch and do a bit of research. All right, we've only been recording for what, 45 minutes? 43 minutes. So you want to call it here? Do you want to do some choice of robots?
Do you want to ask them?
Ask them. Could ask them. I don't know. We could just call it here. We have some decent momentum.
Okay, yeah, let's call it here.
Okay, so we're gonna call it here. I think the next live stream.
Thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah, next live stream we're gonna pick up Choice of Robots again.
Oh, Beth has a bad story.
Uh-oh. Oh right, you did send me a story. How
long is it?
I don't know. I do not remember how long it is. Let's see if I have it. I should have it saved. That is not it, or is that it? That's not it.
Mousy wants to be a part of the stream too.
What is it, Space Kitty?
Hi, Mousy.
What is it, Space Kitty? What do you want? What do you want? Of course, I'm not fucking finding it.
We're losing fans as you...
Beth, can you just resend that to me and we'll read it next time? Yeah, okay. We will read Beth's story, and that will be fun.
She goes to the Milky Way in her dreams.
In her dreams. Beth is a good writer. She won the... Oh,
I was talking about Mousy.
The Poke Pasta contest, right? You won that, right, Beth? I think you did. the Haunted Gaming one. So Beth is talented, and I'm excited to read her writing, or more of her writing. I've read her writing before. All right, cool. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this short stream and for finishing out this saga with us.
This flash stream that happened in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this was fun.
This is the matinee Raygun Readers episode.
It's cheaper. Not a lot of people show up. No one cares. Okay, cool.
But we're happy for the people who did show up.
We are very, thank you guys. Seriously, thank you guys for continuing to support us with our weird indefinite hiatus bullshit. We love doing this. We're just trying to figure out how we can fit it into our schedules. So we do what we can when we can. And yeah, love you guys. We will be back soon. Goodbye.
Adios, muchachos.